How far would you go to protect your family? Tonight, in a story you'll only see on 11 Alive, our investigators reveal a grandfather's fantasy to kill his own son to gain custody of his granddaughter. Making this even more chilling, he's got a badge and a gun. And as 11 Alive Chief Investigator Brendan Keefe explains, a new Georgia law is playing right into all of this.
This little girl has a lot of people who love her.
So pretty.
Her father, Brandon Roberts.
When I held her the first time, everything changed. I knew I'd do anything to protect her.
And her grandfather, Dale Roberts.
From the day she was born, I promised her I would always be there to love and protect her. This is a dollhouse that I started building with my granddaughter February of last year. I just hope she gets to play with it one day.
We advised him that he could come see her at our house, but we did not feel safe with her going over there by herself anymore.
What happened, baby? Mommy and Daddy will not let you go if you're scared.
Brandon says his father had become obsessed with his daughter and cut off contact. The grandfather responded
that he was going to do everything in his power to ruin us.
And he put that in writing?
He did, in a text.
The pain and hurt you've caused me by keeping my granddaughter away from me, I'm going to do everything within my power to ruin you both. Did you write that?
Yes, sir, I did.
What do you have to say about that?
It was said in anger. I wanted my granddaughter back, and they took basically what I lived for.
I believe he wanted my family to be unstable so he could show the court that we were unstable, so in order for him to get custody.
That rocking chair, I don't know how many hours we spent in that chair together. All I could do is sit there and cry because I didn't know if I'd see her again.
Dale sued his own son under Georgia's new grandparents' rights law. That's how Brandon got a copy of his father's private journal through discovery.
Brandon is a sorry son of a bitch who is an uncaring bitch. He is no longer my son. I hate him so much now. I wish he were dead.
Do you wish your son was dead?
Not really. I was speaking out in anger, and I hated my son. I really hated him for what he'd done.
What does your father do for a living?
He is a Georgia State Trooper.
Trooper Dale Roberts of the Georgia State Patrol wrote something else in his journal about his son.
I hate Brandon so bad I could put a bullet between his eyes and not blink.
The state gave you a gun and trained you how to use it, and here you are writing down, I want to put a bullet in my son's head.
These words were spoken or written in anger. There's been plenty of words written in anger since this situation began.
You don't want to hurt your son?
No, sir, I did not want to hurt my son.
And he told the court that the journal was full of his love for my daughter, when in fact he was writing stuff about killing her father.
Still, a Spalding County judge ruled in favor of the grandfather, ordering Brandon to hand over his daughter to Dale 2 full weeks in the summer, most holidays, and 2 weekends every month.
It was a parent's visitation that he got. He got more than the biological mother originally got for visitation.
A parent can sue their own estranged child to get essentially shared custody of the grandchild.
As a step-parent, even if I were to adopt, he would still have more rights than I would, which is crazy.
You felt boxed in, and you felt you had only one choice.
To move.
To leave the state.
To leave the state.
Stephanie and Brandon packed the kids in the car and drove, leaving Georgia and Dale in their rearview mirror. They crossed the Iowa border and kept driving deep into the rural heartland.
Did you pick this place because you knew it would be hard to find?
Yes. Or we figured it would be hard to find.
Well, where is Mommy and Daddy?
They were hiding out, quite literally in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by Iowa bean and cornfields, no one for miles around. But somehow Trooper Roberts tracked them down.
I hired 2 private investigators.
Sheriff's deputies here in Iowa were asked to serve Brandon with papers for contempt of court. The attorney letter clearly stating that his client was a trooper in the Georgia State Patrol.
I answered the door, and the cop was very aggressive.
He drew his taser on me.
Do you think that had anything to do with the fact that they were told in advance that your father was a Georgia State Patrol trooper?
I believe it was because he called them.
Did you ever mention to the sheriff's office up there that you're a Georgia State Patrol trooper?
Yes, sir.
Why would you mention your job to another law enforcement officer if it doesn't have anything to do with a civil case?
It's just person's preference. It's the way law enforcement people are. We mingle. I go to a lot of funerals for troopers that's been killed out of state, and we introduce it, just professional courtesy.
And Roberts versus Roberts.
Back in a Georgia courtroom.
So, Judge, we would ask that you enter an order finding him in contempt, ordering that he be incarcerated.
The grandfather showed up, but his son did not.
Shooting somebody in the head, threatening to kill or murder his son and his son's wife in order to get custody. I might have moved to Alaska if it had been me.
Trooper Roberts came with a new piece of evidence.
I took my daughter for my family's safety, and we moved to Iowa because you threatened to kill us like a piece of shit cop you are.
A voicemail left by his son.
The NAACP is going to read what you put in that journal about niggers, and I cannot wait till the day your ass goes downhill for what you've done, racist pig.
He was referencing another line from his father's journal.
When I take the car from him, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to have it professionally cleaned, though. It looks like a bunch of lived in it.
There's a word scribbled out there. Do you know what that word was?
No, sir. Idiots, no.
There appear to be 2 G's in the middle of the scribble.
I know where you're going, but no, sir.
That's not the N-word.
No, sir, it's not. It could be idiots. I don't know, but it is not that word.
Do you use that word?
No, I do not.
The trooper later admitted to us in writing it was the N-word. He says he scribbled it out so his granddaughter wouldn't see her poppy as a racist.
I'm not perfect, never have been perfect. I'm probably one of the farthest people from ever being perfect. But if I was perfect at anything, it was being a grandfather to my granddaughter.
And now Trooper Roberts is suing for full custody of his granddaughter. Brendan Roberts has filed a motion to take the custody case out of Georgia because both biological parents now live out of state, so Georgia would not have jurisdiction.
All right. Is it possible that the grandfather could get custody here?
Well, no one thought that the grandfather could get essentially shared custody in this case, but the judge ruled that because there was this pre-existing relationship. He had taken care of the girl when she was 1 and 2 years old. So obviously anything can happen. As you know, a lawyer yourself, a judge can order just about anything.
Now, the relationship between father and son obviously broken. How's that little girl doing? And does she have any idea what's going on here?
Yeah, fortunately, no. I mean, she was 3 years old when this started. She's now 4. She's starting to remember a few things. These custody things are always difficult because it's always hard to see just who is on the side of the angels. By the way, the judge did order that Brendan be put in jail and that he turn her over for 40 days to his grandfather.
Has that happened?
To his father, rather. And that has not happened because right now there is a stay pending appeal.
All right. Well, I'm sure we're going to continue to follow this. I mean, it's a bizarre twist, but it's Georgia's law that is in the middle of all this.
It is. And then one of them is a lawman in a very small circuit down there in Griffin.
All right.
Yeah.
Great job. Thanks so much, Brendan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.